Hi, I'm Sandra. This is session 5 of How I Learned to Love Myself. In previous sessions, I have mentioned I'm not a therapist, I am not a trained counselor. I'm putting out there in the world the steps that I took, the things I learned from my therapy about how to love myself, because I had no idea. I didn't even realize I didn't, because it's a concept I wasn't raised with, learning to love myself. Excuse me. So in session 4, I used the example of Tommy not wanting to go to the birthday party, and there ending up being a lot of pain on Monday when he went to school and found out what a good time everyone had. He came home with that pain, and at some point was telling his adult in his life, why did you let me go? Well, excuse me, why did you let me choose not to go? Why didn't you make me go? Which is what some kids sometimes say. And the parent explained to him, we trusted you to know what you wanted. This is important. This is a part of that. I mean, I haven't studied that much child psychology, so I don't know the ages of when, and nothing is written in stone when it comes to children and learning what steps they're in, what ages are what steps and maturity level. But at some point, if we want kids to grow up being responsible adults, we have to help them learn that. Which means letting them feel the pain, which undoubtedly is going to happen because life is life. And we don't always make decisions that we are happy with. This fits in with that piece of yarn in the tangled ball of yarn with little edges of pieces sticking out. Learning to love yourself has a lot of different aspects to it. And so making choices instead of living by shoulds, should, ought to, supposed to, have to, got to, need to, must, and better, as in I better buy milk. Those shoulds disempower people. And one previous session, I read to you from my book, my wonderful book, JFK, Here's My Contribution to Our Country. Because I really want to share these concepts. And on page 28, I had written, shoulds disempower people. They promote dependency. If the adult in that family with Tommy had made him do what the adult wanted, which was the adult thought for sure he should go to the party. If Tommy is always listening to the adult, which is what Sandra did a lot. There were so many shoulds in my life growing up. So many. That does not promote the empowerment of the other person if they are listening to constant shoulds. They are not learning to look at the numerous options. Sometimes there are numerous options to particular situations. If they are not making a conscious choice about which option they want to choose, and looking at the results, paying close attention to the results of their choice. Many times those results are not positive. As in Tommy's case, he was really sorry he hadn't chosen to go to the party because they actually had a little pony at the party. And he had chosen not to go, so he didn't get to ride the pony, and everybody else did. And he was sad having to hear all that at school on Monday. But to me, in the whole aspect of Tommy growing up, his parents helped him become an adult. They helped him mature. They helped him take responsibility. Hang on just a moment. I had that marked. When people operate from should, they're usually not really looking at all the options available and not making a conscious choice from those options. In not exercising the freedom of making their choice, they don't put themselves in position to accept full responsibility for the results, which is followed by a magnified potential for growing from the experience if the results are not so positive. They are not putting themselves in the driver's seat of their life. Instead, they set themselves up to be an active party in the blame game or victim game, as in, but you said I should, if the results don't go well. And in addition, the ones who endlessly offer shoulds set themselves up for being blamed when results are not positive. I was only trying to help. Hear the victimhood in that? They might also be setting themselves up for a good dose of guilt. Folks, this whole process for me of learning to make conscious choices from the options available in many situations, I just practiced doing it, so deliberately when I was first seeing this, because I became aware fairly quickly of the freedom I felt in making my choice. We gain empowerment when we exercise our freedom to choose. Feel empowered, a good kind of power. To me, power is like fire. I imagine everyone listening to this has heard that fire can be good and it can be bad. It can be helpful, it can be very non-helpful. Fire. Sequoia seeds don't, the cone on a sequoia tree doesn't open unless there's fire that makes it explode and send out the seeds. The cone itself on a sequoia tree is just about this tall. I'm going to say 2 inches tall. I've got one at home. It takes a fire to make those cones open and for the little seeds to pop out for the new trees. Who would have thought? I see power in the same diametrically opposite ways of looking at it. Power can be good. Power can be used not good. We gain empowerment. We become empowered when we exercise our freedom to choose. So I'm going to give one example here. Taxes in our country. Everybody says you have to pay your taxes. Well, no, you don't have to. We don't have to pay our taxes. It's a choice. Have you thought of that before? It's a choice. If I say I have to pay it, then I'm giving away my power, which can lead to feeling like a victim. Yes, I'm reading from my book. I wrote a paragraph on taxes. I love this paragraph. There are guidelines for living and earning income in these United States, but I have options. One, I can pay them and feel good about following the accepted guidelines for my country and feel good about contributing to its operation. Now, there's a parenthesis here. Whether that's in part or in whole is another matter. End of parenthesis. Number two, I can pay them and grouse about it all the way to the post office, including for 300 days the rest of the year. Three, these are just options concerning taxes. Three, I cannot pay them and live with the fear of being caught. And four, paying a fine or doing jail time. Five, I cannot pay them and not worry at all. It's an option. Six, I can move to another country where taxes are not expected from its citizens. Okay, my choice. My choice. My option that I choose is number one, that I'm going to pay them and feel good about following the accepted guidelines for my country and feel good about contributing to its operation, at least for the most part. For the last many years, I have consciously said to myself, mostly with a good spirit, I'm choosing to pay my taxes because I am indeed happy to be living in this country with its multitude of blessings. That's just where I come from. It was helpful for me to list all the different options. There may be more that I didn't think of. We don't have to pay our taxes. There are simply results from paying them or possible results for not paying them. And so now we're coming to the end of this session. This is session 5 on the topic of how I learned to love myself. Take what you like and leave the rest. And remember, by the yard, it's hard, this whole journey. And by the inch, it's a cinch. Take care. Goodbye.